Hey everybody, welcome back to Speak Sassy, Drink Classy. I am Sakai to Fly.
And I'm Queen Judy with the booty.
And I am Roel the Rabbit.
And I, my bird song. Just one word, like share.
Not like Cher. I need a song by Cher now. It's in my head.
Do you believe?
That's the good one too.
It's like,
I can feel something inside myself. I really don't think it's strong enough. Oh. She another one that sound like that. Another
That's the
Anita
only part.
Baker.
Nita!
We love
But,
Anita though.
It's a new month, y'all, for real.
It
What month
is.
What does it start with?
special
M?
Starts with the letter M.
With the
M
my favorite
is for
letters.
May, and May is the month of mental health. Something we encourage everyone to get in order. And even those that believe they have it in order are usually out of order.
Guess again.
I guess again was so felt. But we have a honorary special guest that I'm gonna say because she doesn't want me to say that, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Psycho. There is a reason that her name is Psycho because it's not just psycho as in crazy, it's psycho as in psychology.
psychology.
Psychology. She a professional out here.
I ain't no professional.
I'm gonna still call you
She
professional.
got a
though.
degree. To me, that's professional.
Okay.
Exactly. Like
I didn't even finish the professional part.
as long as it's,
I put
you
in
went to
like
school
what,
for
200 hours of clinicals.
it. You went to school for it. I will not. Don't talk about my wife that way now.
Although I will
200.
say I do apply it to my job though. You know,
Yeah, because people is crazy.
With the way the world is, I feel like you can't not apply it in
You
every
are.
situation
No, for sure.
because your mental is affected by literally everything that happens. You might think something small now, and then that little something small might just be the tipping point
Yeah.
sometime later. So you
That'd be
you
the
just gotta pay
shit.
attention. Yeah, you just gotta pay attention to everything for real.
but it's also comes down to what are you doing to help your mental?
Exactly, because everyone heals
toxic.
differently too.
You say you
Hey, elaborate, please.
I agree.
I'm toxic. I can give you all the advice in the world and I can tell you to go, I'm an advocate for people to always go see a therapist. I won't go see a therapist and I don't share my feelings. I don't share what I feel. I hold it in. But I be telling y'all everything. I be listening to everybody, be like, tell me more, baby. What's wrong? Like, what's on your mind, baby? What's wrong? What's going on? And I will talk, and I will let y'all talk, lay it all out, cry on my shoulder, cry in my bosoms. I don't care, just go ahead and get it out. Go
That's
ahead,
a
you
lot
need
of
to talk, give you
Right, she got
advice.
the girls out too.
I put mine
It's
away.
a shirt. So
Put mine away.
raw. But I will let you just get it all out, talk to you, offer you advice, all that. But I won't seek it for myself. I did go to a therapist a few times though. I've been a few times. I had a therapist as a kid, and then I had a therapist as I got older. I went to another one. I went to my anger management classes. I did one session of couples therapy. I flipped the fuck out and rearranged that whole room, so I had to leave.
Yeah, I don't like this couch here.
No, the reason why, so I always tell people, pick your therapist, right? Pick a therapist that's going to be good for you. That therapist was never on, like, I want to say on my side, because there really was no side. There's no side for a therapist, for couples, families, whatever. There is no side. But when it came time for me to express, like, how I felt or what I felt, it just felt like oh, but what were you doing for the other person though? So it was like it was always cutting back to the other person. It was never dwelling into the like deeper delving, not dwelling, delving into like why I feel that way or what's making me feel that way. It was always just like, well, this person over here just said X, Y, Z. I don't give a fuck about that person right now because we're talking about how I'm feeling. That person can feel whatever they want to feel, but our feelings are not the same right now, currently. That's why we here. So delve into me a little bit. And then the therapist I saw separately for myself literally said to me, why you need to come see me because you're answering all the questions yourself. You literally already know the answers, you're just not applying them. So I just stopped seeing therapists.
But that's the thing. Like sometimes you can know the answer, and because you're not applying it, you just need someone to like put it in front of you. Like, hey, you need to apply what you already know. Like you know it, but you're not doing it. And you sometimes you just need to hear that. And other people might not be at that same level to be able to understand that you answering your own questions. So like it's like you said, pick your therapist properly and don't be afraid to leave a therapist because you already started with them. So like that's my little 2 cents on top of what you just said.
Do y'all got
Like
therapists?
that's gonna be my next question. Who's done it and what have been your experiences?
My experience with therapy for myself, it didn't go too good because I didn't go therapist shopping. I got a therapist and I met with her a couple of times and she just didn't seem like a good fit for me because I don't she wasn't personable. I just felt like she was there to collect her little paycheck. So I stopped doing it. And then eventually I started doing couples therapy. But the couples therapy for me honestly felt like therapy for myself and then also therapy for the other person that was with me. So
As it should.
yeah, so it definitely was something where as though I was just like, I need her in my life individually. Like and I loved her. And I honestly I got her information. I do want to go back to her, but couples therapy for me was definitely eye opening for a lot of things that I feel toxic about myself. So I definitely encourage other people to go therapist shopping and find a therapist. No
Yeah.
matter if you know some things, no matter if you don't know anything, just do it. Just do
Because
it.
you'll definitely
So
if you have a good therapist, you'll learn something that you didn't know
yeah.
about
Something.
yourself.
And that
It'll be
couples therapy that you had, that sounds like she was or whoever they were a really good therapist because that's what couples therapy is supposed to be. It's supposed to be getting something out of both people before they
yeah.
start the therapy sessions of both of y'all together. But then at the same time, you can hear how the other person is feeling, which should open up and help both of you guys to understand each other deeper. That's the point of
Yes.
couples therapy. But you both have to understand yourselves first before you can start understanding each other. So it's like couples therapy takes a long time, and a lot of people are like, it should be done by like the 10th session. That is not true. I feel like couples therapy should go on for at least
As
for a
long as
as long as you want, but for a
yeah.
long time because it takes people time to understand themselves before you can start understanding each other better.
Yeah. I think it also put in my eyes for individual therapy and for individual growth period that I don't think you learning yourself and you understanding yourself ever stops. Like I feel like people are always ever changing, so it's always something about yourself that you need to grow from, you need to experience, or you need to love on more. So
Right. Myra, you
yeah.
seeing therapists?
I've seen a few actually, and I've actually seen a psychologist too. But I don't know. My therapy wasn't that great. I had one person that was good, but then that's when I was transitioning from New York back to here or whatever, so I had to let her go. But before that, like everybody else, kind of made me feel like I don't know. It was hard to explain, but they didn't make me feel great about myself. Like certain things I would say, and I felt like they were judging me instead of giving me advice on certain things. And I was just, because I remember one of my therapists, I actually went off one, and it took me a minute to get there. But I was like, after a while, I was just like, do you want to be here? Is there a problem? Do I irritate you or something like that? Like I was dead ass talking to her. She got mad. So that's when she got belligerent. And I was like, well, girl, bye.
Not mad at
Yeah.
me. Therapist belligerent.
No,
At
because
that
the one
point, like
thing.
you already feel like you're in a vulnerable space. You know what I mean? So the person that you're talking to is supposed to be, unbiased. So
Because I
if you
don't like
can't
sharing
be vulnerable
advice.
with the person that you're supposed to be vulnerable with, that knows
Mhm.
absolutely nothing about you until you tell them, like it's weird. It feels weird, and especially being somebody who doesn't open up usually, and now here you are jumping far left to try and do something for the betterment of yourself. It's scary. It's so scary.
But they literally say that in like your clinicals is like you need to be unbiased, which is really hard to do as a human. Like I will say
Yeah.
something like that is hard to do because someone could say something that could trigger a person, which is why they tell therapists or psychologists, psychiatrists, whatever you want to call them, to have one themselves, have a counselor themselves or a psychologist themselves. And some firms force you to do that. Like you have to have someone to sit down and talk to because you don't know what somebody's going to bring to that, that session. Like I went to one like at a wellness center and she was a psychologist. And like me opening up to her had her in tears. And I was like, I understand. We're all human. Like if I say something that's gonna make you cry, that's fine. But like you get like a really, really good therapist, they'll hold that shit in until the end of the session and probably let it out in that 15-minute time slot before their next appointment.
Because for
So
me, it sounds like whatever you were saying to that person definitely hit home for her, or she
right.
probably was going through something similar. You know what I mean? She just was like, God damn, I can't even hold it. You know?
Yeah. Definitely.
I've had two therapists in my life that have been positive, and all the other ones I didn't even like really give a chance. But out of the two that I had a positive experience, they definitely allowed me to realize how I am comfortable moving and thinking around other people, which is why like the space between I want to say like 2020 and 2022 like was a complete emotional change for me because I now know how to process my emotions where beforehand I didn't know what to do, so I just didn't do anything, and then it would explode, and then it would be a crazy situation. You see me in the middle of the street, walking along the parallel lines because I'm just bored. Like it was a crazy transition. Like once things start opening up in your mind of how you want to process information, and I feel like once you get that good therapist, everything start falling into place like a nice little puzzle, little jigsaw, something like that.
Never lied.
And so I am also an advocate for anyone that feels like they need help or doesn't feel like they have help anywhere. Try it. Definitely try it.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while for you to find that person that you feel comfortable opening up to, but don't give up. Your therapist or the person that you need to talk to is out there. But I have a similar story to Ro. 19 what was COVID? Not COVID, but like when everything was shut down,
It's
like
like she said 19. Anybody else hear that? Y'all heard 19, right?
She
Okay.
said 19. I feel like she was thinking of like 2019.
Yeah, 2019,
2020.
Yeah.
2020. Yeah, that was, I think, a pivoting point for me, or the start. Um, COVID was a depressing. I'm going to get real vulnerable here, guys. Being confined was not a good space for me. I was so depressed. I was very unhappy. And not because of the things going on around me, but because of myself. And I just felt like I wasn't doing what it is that I wanted to do for myself. And it was not a fun space to be in. It didn't feel good, and I knew I wasn't happy. And for some reason, a light bulb, it like switched, and I
She
had to
listened to
shift
the
my
Lizzo
mindset.
album.
I literally had to switch my mindset, and it literally took a 180 and a shift of mindset for me to be in the space that I'm in now, where I am not completely, but I am in the process or in the construction of loving myself. So, whoever out there who feeling like, I can't do this or I can't be this, shift your mindset. It's going to be hard to do. For me, that was very easy because I knew I didn't like the feeling that I was in. It was very easy for me. But I know it's difficult, and it's going to be a freaking roller coaster. But ride that wave, because that's something that you need to grow. That's just my little tidbit on it.
Because I had a similar situation, like that whole pandemic thing. People that knew me knew that I completely changed over the pandemic. I became a fucking hermit. I was not myself. And it was so many things so many different reasons. And I was really unhappy. And I'm just literally now just getting back to what I used to be. And it's still issues. Like I picked up a lot of bad habits over that because I was depressed. And like, I do a lot of retail therapy. So my ass is depressed, even more depressed as I was broke because I was unhappy and buying shit. And then I was broke. And then I'm like, oh, I'm even more unhappy and shit. So it's like... So yeah, so I definitely understand because it's taken me forever. Like I feel like that pandemic was just a gigantic drop kick to my left nut, and that's just how I took the whole thing.
I was an alcoholic.
I damn near was too. I was literally drinking like every night. Bitch, me, you was drinking together.
Both y'all asses, y'all still alcoholics.
I was about to say, I became a happy alcoholic. I'm sorry.
Because we would definitely have our game nights, and we like, what y'all drinking?
Y'all done changed from depressed alcoholics to happy alcoholics.
Right. No, it's real. That's a real thing, because before, when I would drink, I would be ready to fight. Like ready to tear some shit up, and did. But now when I drink and I get drunk, I'm too live. The Too Live crew and them. Like,
yeah, that's something my therapist talked to me about, because I was drinking around that time was very new to me. So I was talking that I enjoy drinking, and she wanted to just explore that wasn't like a negative situation. So she just allowed me to say my piece, and everything that I was saying kind of fell onto, so you drink positively. You are in a positive mindset when you start drinking. You don't drink because of something bad is happening and you want to try to forget or anything like that. And that's the one thing I can always say. Like, I've always drank in a positive situation, and very minimally. Very minimally, I was like, I tried drinking just because I was irritated or depressed, and I never really enjoyed it. So I actively stopped. Anytime I know I'm not upset and I'm like, whatever, I just won't do it, because I want to keep that positive association I have with it. I don't want to try to depend on it to make me feel good. I want it to just, let me let loose a little bit and get even more crazy than I already am.
Yes.
My thing was, mine wasn't like depressed drinking, because I already drank like a lot, but it was just weekend drinking. And then
since I know you.
Because it's like weekends, I'll come down, like my normal drink, I'll go to a bar and be like, yeah, can I get a Jack and Coke and 2 shots of tequila? They like, you starting your night off? Hell yeah. That's just me on a normal weekend. But like, I got bored. It's just like I was in the house, I was bored, there was nothing to do. And then my situation was weird. I couldn't visit nobody, see nobody. It's basically no fucking interaction at all. So I was just drinking because I was bored. People calling me at 2 p.m. What you doing? Drunk as fuck? Wow, what's up?
What's up?
And I could drink a lot too. I think that realization came from Piyush's party. And like 2021?
Something like that.
We had a birthday party for Piyush, and everybody was trying to make me drinks. And I was like, this shit is not doing it for me. When I tell y'all, I forget It was the rest of the kinky bottle. I filled up the kinky, like it was like that much kinky in it. I filled up the rest of it with 1800. I got a bottle of 1800 for my birthday. And I sat on the balcony talking shit all night and drank that entire bottle. And it was the kinky bottle.
Good old 750 milliliters.
That's 750. 750.
And didn't eat. I don't think I ate anything that night. I just drank.
That's because you cooked, and your ass don't like to eat after you cook.
Everybody used to be like, how you just wake up the next morning? I didn't have a hangover. And I would wake up the next morning, and even during pandemic, like I was literally, like I think by the time lunchtime rolled around, bitch, I was in the kitchen making margaritas. Like almost every week. It was the same thing. And I was like, damn. Right. Well, let me just go ahead and order some more shit to come bring it on over here to the house. Or bro, go out and get it.
Because Postmates fucked up when they was like, we deliver alcohol. I was like, y'all do what?
Right. So I was a heavy drinker, and then I stopped drinking. But like my drinking problem, I wasn't depressed. I can say that I wasn't depressed. During pandemic, I wasn't depressed. I love being in the house. I don't give a fuck. Sit me in front of video games all day. I am good. I don't care. I wasn't depressed, but I did have emotional moments. That roller coaster of emotional moments, like with dealing with like certain things that I didn't like about working. The job I was working, rose up and downs, because that hormone therapy was definitely kicking in, and her self-discoveries for herself. So that was an emotional ride. And then that was also 2020 was also the year Pinky moved in with us. So it was just like emotional ride. I lost my game room.
We did have a dedicated game room.
I lost my game room. I was going to have the little this little closet we had was gonna be my little book nook. I was so excited when we got that place. I lost all that, and I was just like,
and she wanted her she shed throughout that whole thing.
I need my she shed.
I did want my she shed throughout that whole thing. But no, like alcoholism, I know people say it's not hereditary, but it definitely runs in my family. Like my dad, alcoholic, sister, definitely alcoholic. And like my brother cracks, he's not as bad as he used to, but he cracks a beer open every night, and then on weekends cracks a few more, add a little bit more to it. But like everybody is surrounded by alcohol. And then even like if you look in like our photo album on my dad's side of the family, like our grandfather used to put beers in our hand. We country. My grandfather used to put beers and stuff in our, like there's pictures of us sitting on something with beers in our hand.
My grandfather used to give me gin and moonshine, and I used to be sitting there like, let me try it, and then be mad after I taste it. Be like, what the fuck is that?
And they just laugh it off, So I think in what was it? I think 2022, I took that initiative to just like, I think it was 22. It might have been 2021 or the end of 2021. But I took that initiative to just like cut drinking and only drink on occasion. And even if we are at occasion, not to really drink, maybe like one drink here or there. And then sometimes I'll be like, I kind of want to let loose. I'll go ahead and fuck shit up, But I feel better not drinking too at the same time. Like I don't feel as sluggish. Like I know, like I used to get tore up at like cons and stuff. I don't feel as sluggish. Like I feel like I got more energy when I don't drink a lot. So I'd be good. And on the dance floor, you can cut up. I mean, liquid courage or whatever for those people that can't get out there and just dance. But like,
Yeah, baby, where's Latrell?
On the dance floor, that was definitely me last blurb.
Yeah.
Last blurb was a movie. I
definitely drank a lot last blurb. Where's Adisha?
On the dance floor.
Yo.
I'm excited for this blurb.
Yeah.
I am too.
So it sounds like all of us had like our vice or our something that we were using to cope with. Y'all's was drinking, mine was like heavy smoking, like, and I also feel like mine was like a codependency on the people around me as well.
So I can't fully say that drinking was my coping mechanism. My coping mechanism was doing random ass photo shoots in the house.
And mine was really video games.
Yeah,
That was my
same.
biggest.
There was a few nights that I was in that bitch drunk as hell, not knowing where the hell I was going, and Myron be yelling at me, "Bitch, what is you doing?" And I'd be like, "I fucking know. I don't even know where I'm at on this motherfucking screen right now. Where
No,
am
but if you
I?"
think of that,
I don't know what's happening. I'd be like, all right, it's time to go.
I'm back to thinking about her aiming at Arc Star and Apex.
You leave me alone.
It's like, Nisha, do stuff.
One thing I will say, because I'm whatever, bitch. One thing I will say is that I'm glad that Rose's coping mechanisms turned into photo shoots.
It's productive. It's an actual good coping
And there's
mechanism.
a reason for that, and I will let her get into what she would shut down and do if she wants to be that vulnerable.
I mean, I've passed that point in my life so far that I can just blurt it out. So, trigger warning for anyone that has any type of mentality that is close to this. But I used to be a cutter, and it was not okay. Like, if you ever like get close to me and look at my left arm, you can still see the crazy amount of scars that are on it. And the worst part is you can't even see all of them because not every cut scarred. So that's essentially what's being referenced. I would literally, as you said, shut down. I would leave, go on my own somewhere with my little X-Acto knife, sit on a curb somewhere and just go for it. And the only reason that I fell into that kind of mentality is because I hate that this correlation is there, but I fell in love with like kink. I know I like impact play. I know I like feeling things penetrate my skin. So it was the only thing that I honestly felt would feel good. And it never really helped, and I hated it, but I liked doing it in the moment, so I always did it. So, and anytime I was like at my absolute limit, I would disappear. I would not take my phone so people could not try to find me or anything like that because I don't want you to find me. And I would go off in the corner, go somewhere else, disappear, and cut my left arm specifically. So that being my initial coping mechanism versus my coping mechanism now being literally content creation is a huge 180 that I definitely needed because there was definitely a few times that I like passed out while doing cutting.
Because I
And
gotta
that's
say,
definitely my vulnerable moment.
What did that transition look like for you from being in that space where you're using this one thing to cope very heavily to going into doing something that is less harmful to you?
You said, what did the transition look like?
Yes.
A lot of complaining. I complained my entire way through it. And when I say I complained, I realized that I didn't want to do it, but my body was just so used to doing it that if I complained enough, I would hesitate. Like I wouldn't stop, but I would hesitate. And once you get that little bit of hesitation, you can kind of like try to grab yourself.
Yeah.
So I kept doing it. I kept complaining. I kept saying like, I don't want to do this even while I'm doing it. And like, I got to the point where I'm complaining so much, I was now given the opportunity to go to therapy about it. I went to therapy about it. So now I have someone else helping me help myself kind of like take myself out of that moment. And I complained to myself enough to realize that I just need to stop cold turkey. So I finally got to the point where I could just not do it anymore. I didn't get rid of like the X-Acto knives and things like that at first because I needed to be able to see them to be able to walk away from it. Because if I didn't just walk away from it, it didn't mean anything in my head. So me purposely being like no and going the other way was like kind of my big triumphant, yeah, I did that, I'm better now kind of mentality. So that was kind of the whole process of how it broke down. Honestly, this process took like 2 years. So I know I explained it kind of fast, but it was a whole like 2 year kind of thing for it to be completely gone and for the thought process to not be there. So it was definitely a lot of complaining and self-realization.
That's dope.
We better now. We up.
Yeah.
Cannot.
We up.
We up.
I'm glad too, because there was times where I wanted to beat her ass.
My ass was like, do it then.
I
I'm
was
so
supposed to say that
serious.
because y'all know I have a nonprofit and we teach kids or whatever, so there's a whole bunch of different personalities. But we used to have one person that did go in the bathroom and cut themselves, and that used to scare the hell out of me because I used to be like, I was new to it and I didn't know how to deal with it at the moment or whatever, and then I just kind of freaked out. Just like, we need to watch her 24/7. Like, I used to literally have everybody watching her because I was scared that she would go in the bathroom and just maybe she might go too far or something like that. Like, when her mother told me about it, I was worried because I just didn't know how to handle it. But you live and you learn. I've been put in a lot of situations where you just
And the
grow.
worst part about that is like you want to watch her for like general concern. And from the person that is like doing it, they're just like, get away from me. And they just hate the fact that you want to watch over them at that point, and it makes them want to do it more. So sometimes it's like really confusing as to what to actually do. So I definitely understand what you're saying there, because I was the little girl in that situation where when people wanted to keep watch over me and wanted to know exactly where I was going and all that, I just hated it. I hated it completely.
And I was aggressive with it. Like I became aggressive with it. I think with the after that first night you disappeared, and I was like, where the fuck is she at? She didn't take her phone or nothing, but ended up walking from our house to Piyush's house. Like walked. Didn't take anything else with her, didn't take nothing with her, but walked. And then I was like, nah, you gotta have your phone on. And then the second time was she had her phone on her, but she disappeared. Hours. I'm calling for literal hours and no answer. I literally had to call her brother and be like, hey, is Rose sharing her location? Because where is she? This hoe turned off her location. So now we're both sitting there worried. Then he was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to just drive around and just check, whatever. And he was like, let me know if she comes back to the house, you stay at the house, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we also had Piyush out looking for her just for this hoe to be up the street in a parking lot. Just ignoring the fuck out of me. That's fine. I used to be angry.
I had the cops called on me that day.
With good reason. And I understand that citizen's concern. Random person number 82 called the cops out of concern. And I was like, and God bless person number 82, because when this child came back with this damn bag filled with knives and shit, and then I was so mad with the fucking flowers, because the flowers was her way of saying goodbye to the world. And you gonna hand me these flowers and be like, they for you though? No, I don't want them. That has such a bad negative connotation and negative juju to it that I really don't want your flowers. Like, that should go back to the world as you were gonna have flowers there in the car with you. Really? Like, what?
They were fake ones, so they wouldn't have wilted.
But then you're gonna come back and bring them back to me and hand them off and be like, these are for you. I don't want your bad juju flowers. Take them outside.
That's I know being Nisha the same, because I probably would have mollywopped your ass.
I got anger problems, and I got anger problems for the people I love, but I definitely was like, I was so mad.
Like, I would have handcuffed your ass and be like, bitch, you ain't going nowhere.
I had to calm myself down, y'all. I had to calm myself down, because I don't know why my heightened emotion comes out as anger and crying.
But it'll 100% relate.
But I'll still be concerned and loving for you, but it's anger. So like, if I can't and I don't even know if it's like control the situation, but like if I can't help you and I'm trying to help you and it's so dire, like that situation for me was dire, like a dire situation. I get angry. So I damn sure
Yeah.
did not. I punched a bunch of shit in here that didn't break. I made sure it was stuff that wouldn't break. I gotten better. I took my anger management classes, so I was in here punching pillows and plushies. It's fine.
Like, I'm angry, but I ain't paying no extra money.
Okay.
Right, I'm not gonna lie. I did punch the shit out this chair, but that chair went flying all the way over there. But like, come on now, like. So I'm glad you're in a better space because I felt like I would have. Actually, I think I said that to you one time. I murdered you myself.
You did. And my depressed ass was like, do it then. So it wasn't that time our communication was not as good as it is now. So like the progress of both of us is definitely noticeable.
And it's crazy because I'm the person that's like communicate. And she was like, and Queen Petty. Yeah, like I don't got nothing to say to you. And definitely Queen Petty. Tit for tat. Everything was tit for tat.
Everything is still tit for tat.
Nah. I think you get
I'm only
nerves.
a little petty. Like I'm like court jester petty, not Queen Petty.
Yeah, she was Queen Petty. Because it could be something like, oh, well, if you so upset, like you so upset, I ain't got to take you to work. And then I would say back to her, oh, if you don't take me to work, you ain't going to have nowhere to stay. Because who paying the bills?
Not back and forth pettiness. I'd have been sitting in the corner. You children, get in the car. It's like,
Before I start handing out ass whooping, get my switch.
There was definitely times where I willingly walked outside and just went in my car.
It was just like, it was
That
like
was all I had. I was like, fuck it, this is my life.
Right. It was definitely given like, after a while, like I had to realize, like, girl, you know you better than that. You're not like this. This is not you. Don't let her do that to you. So I was just like, you just have to communicate. I calmed down. It took a couple of years. Like we got together in 2018. I calmed down by about 2020, 21. When we got engaged in 2020. So like 2021. By 2021, I was just more so like, we need to stop talk. Even if you don't got something to say and you need to step away from me, but stay in the same house. We'll just be in separate rooms. And that's because I ain't trust your ass to go out anywhere because you might not come back.
And that's where the growth comes from specifically, because like as we mentioned that we need to talk, we need to communicate. I realize that I'm a person that in a state of heightened emotion, I physically cannot talk. Like I can't think straight. I can't make sentences. I can't do any of that. So like the times where Nisha was like, we need to talk right now and stuff like that, we had to develop a little code where of like I'm at that point where my brain not braining and I can't. So like you're gonna ask me a question and I'm gonna know the answer and I can't tell you the answer. So we had to like, one, I had to learn that was a thing for me, and two, I had to communicate that with Nisha so that we can be prepared for when the situation arises where I'm in that state and we need to talk. So everything, as Mariah said earlier, it's always a learning process with like yourself and your brain and all that.
Definitely.
Mental progression. That's the word. Yes, mental progression. That sounds nice.
Yeah. I don't know if it made any sense. I think one episode that we had, I think it was To Date or Not To Date, when I was saying you can't expect somebody to do something for you that you can't even do for yourself. And I used something as minuscule as buying flowers for yourself. That right there for me was just a metaphor for if I can't communicate with myself or if I can't understand myself, how can I understand what it is that's being brought to me by somebody else? You know what I'm saying? For example, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I expect love languages. I expect them to My love language is affection. If I expect somebody to be affectionate with me, it can't work if they're not affectionate or if they don't feel like they love themselves entirely to even love somebody else. So it's all about learning yourself first and loving on yourself first before you can completely be open with being in a space where you can receive it. So that's why therapy is important. I had to get to a space where a fucking bucket is necessary. And something you just said, Ro.
A bucket.
No, when you
bucket.
said that, the fucking bucket,
bucket.
but.
I thought she said a fucking bucket is necessary. Like, what are you doing with a damn bucket,
is
girl?
necessary. That was one of my mechanisms that I used when I felt like I was too far in control of things that I had absolutely no control over. You know what I mean?
For
I had to
anyone that
learn
might
that
not
the
be
only
aware,
thing
can
that
you explain exactly what a fucking bucket is used for?
yeah.
She was explaining it.
I discovered that I had a control problem. And I always wanted to be in control of everything else around me. So I had to be in a space where I can be okay with letting things be what they are because I can't control them. The only thing that I can control is myself. So if I felt like I was in a space where, oh my gosh, I control it, I would write it down and I would put it in my bucket and say, fuck it. So that eventually turned into me doing my party decorating. So that gives me a space to be in control completely and freely. And that turned around in what did you say, Ro? You literally just said it.
Said a lot of things just recently, so
It was the last thing you said. Damn. Come back to
mental
me.
progression.
No. It'll
That's
eat me
literally
alive, but I'll figure it out.
that's literally the last thing I
It'll come
remember
back to her in
saying.
20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be a whole nother topic, and you're like, ooh, 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 ooh.
Right.
Okay. So, what are some of y'all's mental health issues?
Ooh,
Like,
I've been waiting for this question.
I can go if you want me to, because I definitely have some, but go ahead.
Go.
Ooh, I was waiting for this question. Unless you
Girl.
finna talk in circles and ain't nobody else gonna get a chance to talk.
When I talk about
Actually,
something
Myra,
I
go
know and
first.
not stuff that I love, it'll come out.
Mine's anxiety, I guess, because my anxiety would get high and make me do all types of crazy shit, and that's one of my
That
issues.
crazy shit.
Because it just gets to me, like, and then my mind just start wandering, and then I start doing shit that I probably shouldn't be doing. But will say, I got better. I say this all the time. I got so much better because I used to be like off the deep end. Like, I'm pretty sure people used to be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why did you even think to do some shit like that?" And my anxiety rose, and then I had an idea. So I was just like, follow through. Might have been crazy, but I followed it through. But I think that's my biggest thing, because remember I said I saw a psychologist too when I was in New York or whatever, and she gave me Xanax. And when I say it was a massive difference, but only when I had
Ooh,
high
you saw a
anxiety.
psychiatrist.
So it was like when they gave me that, it was a massive difference, but only when I was high in anxiety. Because if I took a Xanax and I was totally fine, I was going to sleep. I was like, how people are taking this for, if people were taking Xanax for recreational use, and I'd be like, how are y'all doing this? Is I'll take it and be like,
Because correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that one of the ones that people like got and abused?
yeah.
Okay.
Xannies, yeah.
But it's like when my anxiety is high, it just calms me, and then I don't no longer have like crazy thoughts like let me plant this micro camera in the back of his car and see what the fuck's going on.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
so what do you
Micro
do to
camera took
regulate
me
that
out.
now?
I'm not that bad anymore. Back then, I think it's because I was younger, and I guess because I felt and
Crazier.
thought a certain way, yeah. And then I also didn't think of consequences of my actions back then also. So I used to just be like, I mean, I didn't do this. I'm just saying extreme example. I would go and like fuck somebody up and then just be like, you know what, totally fine. I'm not going to get in trouble for this. Like,
Oh,
that's how
you
my
were one of
mentality back
those.
then.
Crazy.
You were one of those. As long as they don't find out, we Gucci.
No, because my thing is, I took pride in the shit that I did, and then I let you know why I did what I did, and
Your brain
that
was
made me look even
consequence
crazier
canceling.
because some of my logic wasn't logicking. So I'd be like,
I've heard some stories.
because I look back now at some of the things that I've done and said, to, like certain situations, and I just be like, God damn, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I would never do that shit now.
Did you ever delve deeper into why? Like the real reason why?
My real reason why is because it's mostly because of people that lie a lot. I have a lot of trauma from people that lie because everybody just. I had a moment where everybody was just basically lying to me. So the smallest lie would be like, the sky's green. Why the fuck are you lying to me? Like, I would just go off the
Okay, so
0 to
on my
100
screen,
million.
when you said, "Why the fuck are you lying to me?" Why did Ro jump?
Because Ro would be that person to tell Myron the sky is green.
So it's like certain things, especially if it's something small, because stuff get, the longer like a lie go, it can get bigger and it becomes a problem. So I just be like, a lot of people, I'd be like, just tell me up front. One of my closest friends, me and him used to have a problem because he used to lie a lot, like so fucking much to the point where I don't even know why we still friends because I know that nigga think I'm crazy, but it's like, and I used to always be like, you put me in this situation, and then I felt even crazier because I'd be thinking about all them woman beaters that'd be like, why'd you make me do this to you? And I'd be sitting there like, I was that crazy person doing dumb shit like calling people on your phone and be like, and I'm just basing this off relationships and nothing else right now. But I'm
That's
like,
fair.
I would do some shit like that and then just be like, okay, whatever, and be like, but it's your fault. You were acting weird. This is why I did that. And then saying that out loud, it's just fucking crazy. What?
I understand that mindset of realizing what you were doing is like way out of pocket and way crazy at the same time. But like in the moment, you were like, yes, this is right. And
It
I'm going to
makes
do
sense. It
it.
makes
Like,
sense.
I definitely get that.
Because
Yeah.
my number one thing is like, I understand when people lie or whatever, but when you say certain things, it's certain type of lies. I can get if you say something that make me upset, like, and then I find out later, okay, I understand. But if it's something more serious, like if it's something super serious and you just lied to my face, especially after I asked you, I will feel some type of way. And back in the day, I used to flip out in all types of fucking ways, and now I'm getting a little better. I would just walk away before I, jump off the deep end.
You realize you got a lot to lose. And also, it's a lot of damn energy. You got more energy to worry about on
And that's
something a little
my
more
thing,
productive.
because like even now, a lot of people say I dismiss stuff too quickly, but I honestly feel like if it does not make me happy, why am I spending time on it?
Why am I here right now? Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Bye.
Mhm. Yep. Mine definitely is the same. I don't know if you have depression. You always have depression. I haven't gotten that far just yet. I know it definitely comes and goes, but like I said, I hate staying in that space, so I always like to see it go. Um, but anxiety definitely is something that I've been dealing with for a majority of my life, and it was really bad to the point where I would have panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and I would be really abrupt with things that, I mean, I'm still abrupt with decisions that I make, but my anxiety definitely, like you said, made me do things that were not conducive to anything or anybody. So I then turned that on my journey of reconstruction of my life, guys. I learned to be able to cope with how I regulate my anxiety. Like, I have like my little coloring pages. People just think I just be coloring just to color. No, if I'm in a heightened state of anxiety, I will use that to mellow myself out. Or I'll revert back to my creative side and my creative thinking and just put it into that. And then also to keep myself busy. I always say I like to be productive every day. So I try to use that especially when I'm in a space where I have high stress and I have a lot of things going on that I don't generally want to think about. I keep myself busy or probably have a panic attack. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever taken any medication for it.
See, mine's also
Ever.
because you did ask me how I handle it. Now I also play a lot of video games.
Okay.
It keeps me because Nisha sent me this clip of King Shark from the Harley Quinn show like a billion years ago when he was talking about his video game addiction. And I was like, that is literally me. Because if I'm not playing a game, I'm thinking too much. And if I'm thinking too much, I become a problem for everybody.
I think
You just spiral.
Yes. Oh my God. I think that's the reason why I always keep myself busy, because it stops my brain from thinking too much.
Can I ask
Yeah.
Misha a
It
question
keeps
real
me
quick?
focused.
What's up?
So essentially what Mariah's go-to plan of action is, would that be considered stimming or is it different?
What do you mean?
Like, because she said whenever she's high anxiety, she likes to like go to coloring or something creative. And when I know stimming as a direct definition of when a person is having too much going on right now, they'll focus in on one particular thing. Like how earlier in the
Okay, it's like
store, I was just tapping
Colorado.
my feet, but I wasn't listening to the music, so it just sounded like I was offbeat as hell. But I was only focusing on the tapping of my feet.
Yeah, some
So,
type
like,
of
would that also be
stimulation that
considered?
help you to
Yeah.
focus
So
in
would
on
that?
one thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That does that count as stimming, or is it considered something else? Because it's like high anxiety, I'm keeping myself occupied versus high anxiety, I'm only focusing on one thing. Like, is that the same, or am I just overthinking it?
I feel like it falls into the same category though, because
Okay.
when she reaches that
Gotcha.
heightened sense, she targets one thing to sit and focus in on one thing to help lower her anxiety. Stimming is
Cool.
just getting a stimulation of feeling or doing something that is going to just be center focus. Like Myron, if he's feeling something, he plays video games. He angry, he goes shoot the hell out of people. You know,
That's about
Go
right.
get you a
it's just
tactical nuke
something
in Call of
for
Duty.
yourself. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Got you. I'm caught up now. But what does that make it my turn also?
Yeah.
Um. So I feel as though I have some form of PTSD or childhood trauma, whatever you want to word it as. Um, because as a child, all the way up till I was like 19, I didn't really get to voice my own opinions ever because I was always told I was talking back, or if I felt as though
That black kid childhood
something
That
trauma.
what your right say? Sound like a black
right,
house?
like
Right?
that like sat with me. So like
Black,
as a child, I just got completely silenced to the point where I just stopped talking completely, and that just happened for years and years and years. And my only escape was school, actually. So I acted an absolute fool in school, became a class clown, and did that because that was the only time I could actually do something other than just sit there and be silent. But with that, I didn't know how to express emotion. I didn't know how to handle emotion. I didn't know how to do anything in terms of, okay, my emotions are now high. What the hell do I do? So I ended up turning into some very drastic measures. But even now, like I still, even though I'm not where I was, I still kind of feel it. For example, I will say, even though I do it, that's the biggest thing. I will say I hate when like I'm trying to say something and someone like starts talking over to me. Like I get this like stab in my chest feeling, but I know how to deal with it now. So like I know how to just be like, okay, I can move on. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But before, I would literally just kind of like shut down completely. It's like, okay, if you want to talk about me, I just won't talk. So you won't have to deal with that ever. And that's where that PTSD kind of, or childhood trauma, I don't know which one is the right word, kind of comes from. And then there's also the depression side that was tag teamed with that. But I feel like the source is that silencing that I've had for like damn near more than half of my life. So yeah, that's mine.
Mhm.
mm.
Yeah, definitely relate.
Yeah, she
But
definitely
yeah,
don't like being cut off.
Yeah. That's
She,
when you said like that heightened state. I honestly characterize it as my anxiety, like because I could feel it like stirring up, and then it'll come out as not only word vomit, but like Bitch, what?
Yeah,
Shut
like I
up.
always tell people all the time, like people I work with, people I talk, like associate with, like everybody has some kind of anxiety or stress. It's how you cope with it. So some people can't cope with their heightened anxiety, which is why then they're diagnosed with anxiety disorder, so or some kind of anxiety disorder. So it's like if you don't know how to cope with your day to day, it's then you medicate it, which
Yeah,
brings you
no,
back to that difference between when you see a therapist, a psychologist versus a psychiatrist. Psychologists can't prescribe you anything, but they can send you to a psychiatrist to prescribe you something.
I don't like them
Psychiatrists are
psychiatrists.
state
Mm-mm.
I always
psychiatrists
get
are
that
the
shit mixed
worst.
up, but I, I know what you say.
can't do with
But I
all
always
those
get that shit mixed
pills.
up.
A lot of
I
people
can't.
do, because psychologists do not have to go through medical school. A psychiatrist does have to go through medical school because they're prescribing you medications. So I always tell people if you go see someone and they are a psychiatrist, just know sometimes their bill is paid based off of how much they do medicate you. Whereas I always tell people to go to like a wellness therapist, a counselor, or a psychologist if you want to be heard and not just being like, well, it sounds like you have this, so let me prescribe you this. Here you go. And you
My
never get to the
situation,
root of what causes it because now you just medicate it.
And that right there is where I never want to be. I feel like getting to the root of it and actually exploring how you feel is always the better option. I don't know if it's middle child syndrome, but for me, I've always been able to self medicate and self soothe. So not only do I find creative outlets to cope with my anxiety, but I've also taught myself how to use breathing exercises on YouTube. So if that helps anybody looking for breathing exercises on YouTube, definitely helps me regulate heightened anxiety for myself.
totally left field, but I gotta say that I was told to meditate to try to get rid of my anxiety. And when I meditated, I saw so many things that I should not be thinking about. Like I could not meditate because he was like, think positive, and my mind went straight to
Mine was
negative,
going
negative,
penis, penis,
negative.
penis, penis, penis. Penis, 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 penis. But
That shit
that
not.
could be turned into
It
positivity
can
for
be a
you.
positive thing.
There is
Yeah.
actually a side of psychology where people actually just think about sexual things and that calms them
But
down.
girl, one, you put sexual in my mind. I wasn't thinking sexual.
Well, if you're thinking stab, 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 like
Yeah, I was just like,
I'm fitting to Chucky
burn,
this
die out of
person,
my
like yeah.
face.
Okay, yeah, that's
And then I
different.
was just sitting there and started laughing because I'm like, this just ain't the meditation he was talking about. This ain't working.
But it is though. Because it makes you sit there when you sit there in your own thoughts and you think about all the crazy shit that you just be coming up with. And then eventually you'll start to realize, like, bitch, I am crazy. And when you
And
get
that
to
should make me look
that part, when you get to that part where you're like, bitch, I am crazy, you kind of calm down but you have that self-realization, like, this is some crazy shit. Stop doing
sometimes
this.
sometimes I do
That's
be
why you thumbs
around
up
people
it.
though. Sometimes I be around people when I have that mentality. That's why I always say if I'm arguing with somebody and I start laughing, you better run because my ass is making some
Listen,
wrong shit.
because I'm ready.
Because there's been some times where I would just sit and argue and then I just start smiling and it's just like, bitch, not everybody think I'm crazy. I was supposed to keep that on the inside.
Bitch, don't have me chocolate in the middle of a conversation because ready to lean into your ass.
I used to think that I still do think I'm crazy. I'll be honest. I think I'm crazy. I 100% think I'm crazy. And there's reason why I have anger issues. I definitely have anger issues. Like I can blow up, I can explode, but like for me, my disorders, well, I can start off by saying, I got that 80, that problem, that ADD problem. There's that one. But like I bottle up so much that I have explosive anger problems sometimes. I think I had a slight little episode today that had me, just kind of like trying to stay calm at the same time, but at the same time, I was slightly angry and I was just like, no, it's not that serious. So I have to talk myself down, which is why I did take those anger management classes. But something I learned that has not even just learned, but something that has stuck with me since my childhood and my child psychologist that I think I only went to. I only recall like maybe 3 or 4 sessions with this woman, and then later on to some guy. But my childhood trauma was keeping everything bottled in because in a house, you can't talk back to grandma, you can't talk back to your mom, honor thy mother, thy father, no matter how much bullshit they throw at you, kind of thing. And I would have explosive anger. But the thing is that when I would have those angry moments, I would lose who I was. So I never officially went to get that diagnosed. But when I say like I lose who I am, there is a totally different person. And sometimes it would come down to literally me just not even remembering a situation or only remembering bits of a situation. Like that's how angry I would be. So I literally would tell people like, I feel like I have a version of like dissociative identity disorder. Like I feel like I have like a split. And I think when I had the breakup, my very first terrible breakup, I actually got to hear that split for the first time. So I never officially went to anybody, but I just know when it happens. I know the triggers. I have to be extremely angry, almost like a hawk. I just kind of called it like a hawk out, because it's like, dang, I have somebody here that's trying to calm me down. Damn, there's this angry ass fucking person who's just mean as hell. And then it's kind of just like me just sitting in the background, just watching it happen, like a back and forth. And I never really talked to it. I think Rose like the only person I talked to about it.
Because I was doing the same thing.
I can relate to
Not
that
with
too.
anger.
Like I literally, yeah.
Somebody else had to tell me, like, other people was telling me how I would act when I got that angry, and that's what made me kind of snap out of it. Because I remember it was a silly thing, but it was like a Facebook post that was like, if I went to jail, what do you think I would do? Everybody was like, oh, you beat somebody's ass, you did this, you blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, is that how y'all really see me? What the fuck? So I had to really sit and think. I had to really sit and think on the inside.
No, I was agreeing because like that something similar was happening to me, like sitting around people. Like I was told like, damn, like you hawk out, or damn, like you need to calm down, or if you went to jail, probably for killing somebody.
Yeah, and that shit, and I was sitting there like, really? That's what y'all think about me? I'm nice. You have to piss me off to get me there.
And then,
Right.
see, I'm the person, I would 100% have been one of the people that say you beat somebody's ass. But I feel as though that person got you to that point where you needed to feel like you beat their ass. So, like, yes, I agree that was the reason, but I understand your feelings on, like, damn, that's what y'all, yeah, I get both sides.
Back then it was totally different, because now people wouldn't say that. Now, because when I was younger, I used to be totally green. If people was yelling at me, people would be like, what are they yelling at Myron for? What do you do? They would step up and defend me. And then eventually it got to a point where they just like, Lord, Myron going the fuck off again. What the fuck happened? But now I'm back at the point where it's just like, oh, somebody really, really set him off for him to go the fuck off. So when they said that, I was at that point where I was like, Myron always popping off at the mouth because something happened. But I worked on my, because I had major anger too. I had to go to anger management, and it wasn't my choice. It was fucking police. And I believe I cussed them motherfuckers out too. And this is also in New York.
I cussed them motherfuckers out too.
In my defense, though, none of that was my situation. I got caught up in, they just assumed I was with some people, and they put me in a situation. So of course I flipped the fuck out. And then y'all talking about go to anger management because I flipped out. I flipped out because y'all got the wrong people. Go do your fucking job anyway.
I get it.
But yeah,
No, I understand that completely. But like, I know my triggers. I know when I get mad. I know when I'm extremely upset, I shake. I shake and cry. I do know that. So like certain things that I do, it helps. I think the last time I was almost to that point was that cookout. That cookout almost got me.
Talking about.
I really think I was like, if it wasn't for Ro, because I damn sure felt like I was dragging dragging my sister down that field, but like I had to literally walk away. But like I know that trigger, like my heart feels like I feel like I'm having a heart attack, and like I can feel my blood boiling, and it's just kind of like, yeah, girl, you got anger problems, and I don't think like, not to say anger management doesn't work. I think it just helps you find like what pisses you off the most, and just kind of like
Well,
how to
my
cope
anger
with it.
management, I think because it
Yeah.
was like mandated by the police, mine was different because I felt like that lady was talking down to me and I ended up going off on her also. Which made me look worse because I was going off on an anger management class.
That
But she was
happens
talking to
though.
everybody like we were criminals and felons. And I was like, nigga, I'm just here because some people I didn't know jumped the gate at the fucking train station. So
But
I was mad. I was just like,
they trigger you.
yeah.
Anger
They
management
jumped the
people
gate
who
in New
do.
York. Isn't that like a common practice?
Is it? Because I remember I told them we could go find something safe to do. I was like, get the fuck out of my face.
Like the movie with Adam Sandler, I've noticed that like in the anger management class that I took, like they trigger you on purpose. And they trigger you because 9 times out of 10, most of the time, most people are a calm person. Like Myron is a calm to himself person. I am a calm to myself person until you trigger that moment, and they'll try to trigger it. And with Myron, it's something as easy as saying something ignorant about you that ain't true. So it's like it's something so simple, so small. So yeah, I always recommend watching like anger management. Watch that shit because that shit is actually true. Like you can be the calmest person in the world, sweetest can be. Like my mama Emma used to always tell me, you're always grinning like a Cheshire cat. And I'd be like, yeah, yeah. Like you always smiling like a Cheshire cat. And then deep down inside, I just be like, I guess. Like, I guess. You know, I hate it here. But yeah, that's one of my biggest things is that I do got anger problems. Don't get me there, y'all. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
Did your anxiety ever trigger your anger? Like mine? I'm just curious if that happens to anybody else.
You said, does your anger trigger your anxiety?
I said, does your anxiety trigger your anger? Because sometimes my anxiety will bring me to anger.
Yes. That's when I start shaking.
My anxiety brings me to a low state. I don't call it depression because I don't feel like I clinically have depression, but I do have low states where it's just kind of like I shut down. And I can shut down. I mean, people will try to say it's depression, but I could shut down for just where it could be like some hours, like that night or that day, and then be okay the next day. Or I could shut down for like a couple of days. But like that's where if my anxiety gets to that point, I have those moments. But then I also have those moments where it's like I'll start to doubt my self-worth.
So that actually brings up a question, like for me, is there a way to actually tell the difference between depression and temporary or long-term sadness?
Technically, yeah, because depression happens frequently. Someone can be sad for a long time. Someone can be in what they'll call like a state of depression and be like grieving or something. And that could turn to like a state of depression, but as long as they can bounce back and live life normally. But someone who is clinically diagnosed depressed could be one day the happiest person in the world, and then the next morning not even get out of bed and don't even know why.
Okay.
And it could and it lasts pretty much long term. And there are people who can actually wake up and still like go to work, but you will notice that they don't want to be around you. They don't want to talk to you. They really don't even want to be at work. And you'll notice that difference, and they'll just tell you nothing's wrong. Or if people keep pressing them, like, you want to talk about it, I don't have anything to talk about. And that could go on for like weeks. Yeah. Like they won't. It's definitely a level to it. But like I always tell people, like some people are just like, I'm depressed. And I'm like, no, you're not. You just sad. You're sad because this situation happened. That's the difference. That you're sad because of a situation. It's not depression. Depression, it just happens. There's no controlling it. There's no real trigger for it. You just are in that state of low moment. You're not in a manic state anymore. You see it a lot more in I feel like I see it a lot more in bipolar people. You're up and then all of a sudden you're down. But like there are people who are just regular and then all of a sudden just drop. You
Just
won't hear
bleep,
from them. Yeah, you won't hear from them. You'll wonder about them. They're not going to answer the phone. They're not going to be on social media. They're not going to interact with anything. I always tell people that's really like that big difference between someone who is severely clinically depressed compared to somebody who's just sad in a moment because somebody did something to them or they ain't liking something. And you can be sad for extended periods of time the same way you can be grieving forever. So, you know, they do
Making me
have people
flashback.
who, huh? I was gonna say they do put people on medications who do have prolonged sadness, and it's the same stuff that they give people who are depressed. But you bounce back. It's not something where it's like they're continuously like refill. You need a refill. You definitely need a refill. Depressed people definitely need a refill, and a lot of them do sink lower than just not getting out of bed and not eating. It could turn into cutting or further suicide. So it just really depends on what it is. But a good psychologist will let you know.
Both of mine did actually. I
Because
just
both of
never
yours
knew
said
like, how to
bipolar,
tell. Yes,
right?
bipolar 3 to be exact, which means I'm not high enough to warrant anybody to want to give me medications. But if I control my own thought process and my own be aware of my triggers, I can kind of gauge how I'm going to feel in a situation and then move accordingly. So, so
Oh,
that's
that
why in a
yawn
lot
like
of
a little horse.
situations, you'll get situations with me where I'll just be very, very stoic and I'll just tell you to your face, I cannot talk right now. And you'll just be like, okay. And I'll just walk away. And I think I've had that situation with everybody in this conversation, but I definitely have those moments. And the fact that I know how to, that in that state, I just can't interact with anybody no matter how hard I try, it makes it so much easier.
And those kinds of things I have to throw in my fucking bucket because the people that I care about and the people that I love, I hate to feel like I can't help them. Just gotta ball it up.
Kobe.
That's why I try to explain. When I go through the moments, I try my best. Usually I stick to myself because I don't usually get depressed, but I will say the pandemic, I was legit depressed. And people will reach out and stuff, and the more that you push away, the more that the people that actually love you will keep fucking, getting on your back. And I was just like, eventually I had to come to a point where I found a way to just be like, leave me alone for a little bit. Like, I love you and everything, but I need to deal with some shit in my own. Because I also don't like when my friends, because I feel the same way when I feel like I can't help somebody, I feel some type of way. And I'm pretty sure that's what my friends are feeling like. But I'm just like, there's nothing that's going on with you. It's something I just got to do with myself right now.
Yeah.
Right. And a good friend will respect it. A
For
good
real.
friend. A good friend will respect it. And I say that I don't like throwing that friend word around. I don't at all. Somebody be like, that's your best, but I'm your bestie. No, you're not.
You know what randomly makes me feel good in other situations? Bubbles.
She's so dumb.
There you go.
I'm not gonna lie,
So
good
that
little
was
bubble
gonna be
party
one
is
of my
fun.
questions. Well, what's the space that we are in now? And it sounds like the growth that we've accomplished. How do we maintain a certain level of happiness, a certain level of being able to get out of the bed in the morning,
Okay.
That was the question.
Okay.
I didn't know how to cap it.
So for me, I listened to something my mom sent me like years ago. Cause I was like stressed. When I tell you I was stressed out, like these gray hairs sprouted in 2 months.
Damn. Sorry, I'm
That's
playing.
how. But that's literally how I never actually like realized like that can actually happen. Like you stress to the point where your hair goes gray. But like I stressed so hard that like one, my hair went gray. Two, I was also like felt like I was having heart attacks pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't like panic attacks because I could just be sitting there. And like because my stress was so high, I would just be like, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. And I swear to this day that I probably did have a heart attack at some point in time. But like she sent me something and she was just like, just keep rewatching it. You're gonna hate the message, but just keep rewatching it. And the message was, and it always sticks with me, and I always send it to other people, but the message was, if something is stressing you out at the moment and you can't do anything about it in that moment, then why worry about it? And I was like, well, that's so fucking stupid because I'm gonna have to worry about it later on down the line. So I'm gonna just keep stressing about it until it gets fixed. And that was literally me arguing with myself and her. And she had to hear that for like months. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I can't do this. I don't know how. It's stupid. Like, why would I put myself in this? Like, I was one beating myself up, beating my house up. My house was definitely tore the fuck up. But like, she was like, but listen to what that message is really saying. Like, can you do something about that in the moment? Like, what can you change about yourself in the moment that's gonna make you happier in that moment? And if you can't change it, move on to something else to stress about. Because we do have levels of stress. We have good stress, we have bad stress. I
Dopamine.
focused my shit was on bad stress. Bad stress. Like I'm over here looking like Corella Deville now. Like
Yeah. That though, because that's how I basically lived my life. Like I used to always say never. I mean, why cry over spilled milk or whatever, and that's
pretty
how I pretty
much.
much lived. So I was like, every time I would super stress the situation, that's literally how I would think. I'd be like, well, I can't do shit right now. The best I can do is just keep working on it until it's get fixed, whatever situation it is. And that's how I kind of carry a lot of stuff. And I've been trying to get other people to carry it that way too, because it makes a lot of sense and it'll
It
calm me down really
does.
quick, or at least for me.
It
It's
does.
just, it's weird because I agree with both of y'all. I just feel like I'm thinking of it differently because my direct answer to Mariah was I don't have a dedicated way to like maintain my happiness. I kind of evaluate each moment as it hits me. And that's only because of like with the therapy that I've had, I literally have to break down a situation so that I can process it afterwards. So something happens, whether it was good or bad, I have to sit there and actually like break down. I was like, all right, was this a big moment? Yes or no? If it was yes, all right, come down. Did it hurt me? Did it hurt someone else? Yes or no? It didn't hurt me, but it hurt my friend. All right, how much do I care about my friend? I care about them a lot. All right, so this is what you're doing. It's literally like this like snake chart that I follow for like damn near every situation. So if y'all ever see me just like spaced out over there, it's probably what's happening. But it's I can't do anything to maintain a set feeling, but breaking down situations as they happen the way that I have been doing for like the past, I want to say like 2.5 years now, kind of helps me regulate so that I can either stay happier or be sad less. So instead of a maintaining, it's kind of like a
Can I stop you right
regulation.
there?
Yeah.
Because that
See,
is
mine,
maintaining. That is maintaining. You
But it
found
doesn't
a
feel that
way.
way.
The reason why
That's
I
my
say
only my process.
it is maintaining is because you found a way that works for you where no matter what situation you're in the moment, because every moment's going to be different for everybody. So like you found a way to maintain, it is regulation. Maintaining regulation is not the same. But like you found a way for you to go throughout a day without having to full on shut down every single time. You found a way for yourself to flow through the scenarios of your day to be like, really, was it that serious? Like, homegirl accidentally stepped on my big toe. She said sorry, but I'm still angry about it. Why am I still angry about it? Oh, I'll get over it. I'm just angry that it's like my toe hurts. Like, you found a way to maintain, like, keep that maintenance up. You found a way to work your way through the day. So you are still maintaining. You just know how to do it from day to day in your own way. Yeah.
Sounds like it takes a long ass time. That's a lot of questions to ask yourself.
Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it's real quick. It depends on the flow chart.
You've actually, Mariah, you've actually been here when she's done it before. There was a time
I've heard her do it before.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, there was a time before where we were all back here watching something, and I said something that triggered something in her, and then she just stormed out, and the last thing we heard was she was outside playing her guitar. And she literally went down that whole list. And I was like, are you good? You want to talk about it? She was like, no, I'm good. So,
because I agree with that too. Because I don't have one thing that I do, but I do handle each situation as it comes. And then there are certain things that I do because, like Zakai said, there is different levels to certain things. So it's like sometimes, like when I'm angry, I'll listen to gospel. And that's just usually it calms me down.
that's funny.
But other times, depending on where I'm at, like if I'm on a 5, 6, I listen to gospel. Eventually, I come down. But if I'm like a 7 or above, I need to talk to somebody, or I'm about to storm into somebody's house and do some belligerent shit.
Right.
And it's like it just depends on where I'm at, like in my mindset, and what type of situation is coming on, how I might, go through it. But I will say, these years, like these past years, I've never really had much of an issue. I just get up and push through life with no problem.
That's good, because you was over there giving truth is I'm tired.
Because I think my biggest thing now is that I get angry quick. And then of course I still have my traumas that I'm healing from. But
right.
Like I said, all this stuff is dealt with differently.
And everybody has like their traumas that they're healing from. Like I definitely don't speak on my traumas too much because I don't like to dwell on them. But
because I will go to 1,000 just thinking about it, and then y'all be like, "Why is he mad?" Like I'll be here, "How was your day?" And what the fuck? And y'all be like, "What is he going through?" I'm sorry, I just thought about something that pissed me off.
Truth is I'm tired.
Exactly.
Options are
not doom.
That's so sad though.
That's how it be, because a lot of these gospel songs, they do speak to me in that way. So it's just be like, I just sit and I listen and I just try to think that, stuff is going to get better. It's not going to always. Because when it comes to traumas, because when people have their traumas, it feels like it come at you back to back to back to back. So I'd be just sitting here like, am I about to struggle my whole fucking life? Is this what I'm in for? So I try to stay away from that type of thought and just be like, whatever I'm going through, it's going to get better. It can't be like this forever.
My father gave me one gospel song that I listened to.
What's that?
Smile by Kurt Franklin. Just because I keep everything bottled in. Sure. So like hearing that song.
Him yelling at his son.
We ain't gonna talk about him. We ain't gonna talk about that. But that song just speaks to like my inner like holding it all in. Cause like one of the lines is like, even though I'm hurting, I smile. And I try to smile through everything else. And I always try to look at it as like someone else out there is doing worse than I am. So let me just keep trying to push forward and do better, be better, and live out my life for the people I love, So that's one song I will say he gave me. I kept. One thing my daddy did right. One thing.
Better than my
We ain't
My
gonna talk
song to
about
try
your
to make me
deadbeat
feel
ass
better.
daddy. Oh,
I wasn't.
Damn.
What?
Nah,
We don't get deadbeat.
God damn. Nah, shit. I was about to give a little tidbit. My daddy gave me. My daddy ain't. He ain't deadbeat.
Mariah like I'm the only one without father trauma.
I was talking
I
about
ain't
Ro
gonna say
because
that,
I thought Ro was about to say something about her father, and I was just like, my brain instantly went there. Not talking about your daddy, Mariah. I don't even know who your daddy is.
You were talking
Simon's
about a
daddy, fuck him,
song.
but it's daddy. It's fine.
And that's where my brain went. I was gonna say it was better than my song that I like to say to try to keep me moving because it's the exact opposite of what I should be listening to. I'm gonna just give you the name of the song is Your Betrayal. It's not a good song to listen to when you're down, but I feel like it's my comfort song when I'm down.
Sound
So
like
that's
it.
what I'm saying. Your song,
Like
your song is way better than mine. That's all I wanted to say.
I mean, I have different go-to songs based off of my emotions. So
Yeah, I'm just saying
Smile is my
gospel
song
don't-
when I was feeling what I was feeling over the past few weeks. For those that know my situations, because I ain't gonna put all of my business out in the streets. Like Smile is that go-to song for me, like to push through. But no, I got songs for everything else. Because bitch, when I'm angry and going crazy, you best believe that whole thing is nothing but Cardi B.
listen, music will do
And
it.
it's the older Cardi B. Ain't the I want to throw that ass in a circle Cardi B. It's the I'm gonna put bleach in your cornflakes Cardi B.
For a second, I tasted that in my mouth, and I did not like the way that tasted.
Cause why?
There's some bleach flakes.
And that's what happens when you boil Fabuloso.
Exactly.
Don't tell me, nigga. I used to
You
boil
already
it.
tasted it. It's fine.
Is that
But
what
let me
y'all said?
rephrase that. I didn't boil it. My roommate did, but I used to dilute that shit for him because it used to smell good.
That should be good.
That shit is unhealthy. And then they recalled it. Why are you boiling? How do you have a brain cell left?
I thought that was the most ratchet shit. Yeah, I came home and I was just like, "Oh, it smells good. What's that on the stove? Fabuloso. What?"
Uh-huh.
Boil
Oh,
like
no,
some cinnamon or lemon or something. You out here fucking making Fabuloso tea till it burn out the damn pot. Why?
I ended up buying plugins. You know the little plugins that spray automatic. I ended up buying those. I was like, he left the stove on one day and he boiled that Fabuloso until everything was
That
gone.
costs too much money. Like boiling Fabuloso is crazy. Get yourself some cinnamon sticks or something.
I think what my mom does. Wait, sorry, because we went off topic. That's the ADD.
We did.
If y'all ain't know, this is our channel. Welcome.
Yeah.
But
First answer the question of how you handle your day, like getting up.
okay, good. I'm glad
And
you
then
brought
go
it up.
into your childhood traumas or whatever you was going to talk about with your daddy and your
Let's
mama.
talk about music.
We were talking about coping. It's still on topic. She done went silent.
No, okay. What was the question?
It was your
Well, I
question.
remember. So I like to. So I agree with everything having its levels. Absolutely. So I think when I'm at like a real moderate state, I dance it out. Listen to some music and I dance it out. But if I feel like it's something that is about let's say a 6 to like an 8, that's when I shut down and I shut myself off from the world. And I have to keep reminding myself that I need to continue to either, one, love myself more, two, look at it with the glass half full mentality, or three, what Nisha said about that video.
It's very similar to your fuck it bucket.
Yeah, like if I can't do anything about this right now, I'm not stress about it. And that's probably why I haven't ever been in a space where I'm totally stressed out. But if it's like a 9 or a 10, very rare that I get that far. But when it does, I normally reach out for help. I regrettably reach out for help because I hate when I'm in a space like that. That's with the space where I do not want to either feel like I'm bothering somebody or have to reach out. So I'll either reach out to, someone that's really close to me that I feel like I can trust, or my mom. And my mom always either gives me something real light to say, like some encouragement, or she'll start loading my phone up, my text messages up with YouTube videos of music, of gospel music. Listen to this. Try this one. Listen to this one. Try listening to this.
This one gonna speak to you.
All right. Because if I get another song in my text messages, I'm going to scream. But I'm going to listen to them, and they always help. So
the funny thing is my mom can either calm me down or send me over the edge. So I have to pick and choose when I call her because she might bring me down from 1,000 or she might send me to 2,099.
like Betty chill.
And sometimes her answers, I'd be like, girl, why would you say that? And I gotta go be crazy.
She will always knock me off the ledge. Not to see me fall, but
make sure you spread your wings.
Yeah, but definitely for me to spread my wings.
My mom definitely grew in that mental health state though. Like I can ask her a question like recently I was like, Mom, how did you deal with this like when XYZ happened? And she would like really open up and be like, well, beforehand I would just be like, fuck it, whatever. Like it never get like a conclusion for her situation or care about it and just let it sit there. And now she'll tell me like as I got older, this is how it is now. Like this is what I do. Or this is how I handle these situations. But like I always knew my mom would have her low moments because she damn sure would play that Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
Oh man.
Like you try to slide the MJB up in there and be like, this is not gospel.
And it was always that one song, Take a Look in My Eyes and See What I See. That shit, oh my God, that song as I grew up as a kid, I just be down there singing with I just be singing it with her while she over there cleaning and I'm cleaning. Cause you damn sure wasn't about to have just mom cleaning on the weekends. Your ass was up cleaning. So I'm just sitting over there and then she would get in our face and sing it and I just be like, but then as I got older, bruh, I'm like, damn, listen to them lyrics in high school. Cause that album came out with Myron though.
We old.
Yeah, my mom definitely grew in a space for me because before I was like, bro, like I was saying before, I could definitely relate to that PTSD or childhood trauma you're talking about. I couldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't talk to anybody about how I felt, about my emotions, about where I am. I couldn't talk to nobody. Now, being an adult, I have to rely on somebody who's been there and done that. So my mom definitely grew in that area for me, whereas though I can actually go to her and talk to her about certain things. So, and then with my dad, if anybody is spiritual or reads the Bible or whatever, verse or a book, Romans 5, 1-5. Definitely read that. Check that out. That helps a lot too.
And I was that weirdo that hated when people used to quote Bible verses at me.
I was the same way.
Not really a weirdo. I'd be like, how the fuck is this shit supposed to help me? You just over here quoting some book some man wrote 800,000 fucking years ago. That's been rewritten by a bunch of my brain would just go down the list why am I even listening to you? Why am I coming to you at this point? Because you just gonna tell me a Bible scripture.
God, the Bible scripture is equivalent to the video.
Not for me though. Not for me though.
Well, that's what I'm just correlating the
Yeah.
two. I'm not saying how you
Yeah.
receive it. However, anybody receives it, it's the equivalent.
So it depends on the person. Not to go after those people that are spiritually, but I used to hate it. Or I used to hate going into church and just being like, they'd be like, oh, sister, you look like you're going through some things. And then like I can feel that you're going through some things. You don't feel that I'm going through some things. You just see that I'm not smiling today.
You just see I got bags under my eyes. I ain't sleep last night.
People got surprised when I got religious because my church was a mess. And
our church was a mess too.
They used to stay saying he hated gay people, but then would straight come to me and be like, you want to lead the music ministry? We need somebody to run the music. And I'd just be like, then you just sit up there and you just name why all gay people are a mess.
You didn't mean to, but when you say they would say they hate gay people and then just straight come to you, I died on the inside. I didn't burst out laughing because it was a serious moment.
At least I'm not the only one that heard it. That play on words was good. But yeah, like I mean, I'm not against people, but like Christians in specific, like any religion in specific, I'm not against people in their religion. I let you have your religion. But I do hate organized religion because it just feels like you cannot live out your life being yourself for the most part. Something is always wrong. Something you're always doing is wrong. So that's just me though. Like I allow people to be who they are. But if you come to me with Bible scriptures and stuff, even though I will listen to that one gospel song or I know gospel songs, gospel music is beautiful, you know, but I listen to everything, so it don't matter. Don't quote nothing on me.
I'm about to start sending Nisha daily Bible quotes every morning.
Huh?
I'm about to start sending you daily Bible quotes every morning. Be like, start your day off pissed off. So I'm gonna stop.
And there was somebody
another thing I was gonna say, things that really uplift me, I have them around like as a reminder to myself. Like I'm not a sticky notes person. Some people are sticky notes crazy. I'm not that person, but like I'll have like little things around that make me happy, that remind me why today is a good day or why today should be a good day. You know what I mean? Why every day is worth living and making the most out of it. So
mine are on Instagram.
Definitely has sticky notes everywhere, and it's always all affirmations. And then he got a like vision boards of what he wants his future to be. But that's how he handles everything. So I be like, and it's working for him because he's doing good. So
yeah, and just speak that. That's what I do. I just speak that life into myself.
I will say vision boards are good though because it keeps you, and they change them every year, or some people do it like every month. Some people actually reach their goals and change them every week, but like those vision boards do help you because it keeps you, every time you walk past that board, you know, like, dang, this is where I want to be at. This is my goal. This is where I'm trying to reach. This is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. And like, I don't do vision boards because I'm always at a computer, but mine are in the form of my OneNote on my computer or a sticky note at my desk at work. My sticky note literally has to remind me that I am better than this job and this job does not rule me and I don't need to be here.
I just picture you at your desk like, I hate this fucking job. Y'all need a memo? Here's my memo at the top. I hate this fucking job. I don't need to be here. Fuck this place.
because jobs will literally, if you do not love your job, will literally stress you out. Like that is part of your mental health. I will tell you, my God, I throw temper tantrums to get up to go to work right now. I literally crawl back in the bed, fully dressed, and told Ro that I don't feel like going to work while kicking my feet like a goddamn child. Like, I don't want to go. I really don't want to get up and go to work right now. Like, I don't.
It was a job that I had, and it was that call center job where I had to answer the phones and shit. And bitch, I was sitting there like, I was like, how do people do this? Like, this lady was like, I've worked here for 3 years. Bitch, are you still here? Because I would have been... Because I would never harm myself, but I would have found their address and went and harmed them. Because, bitch, who are you talking to? I get on the phone. Like, what is going on?
And for me, with my job,
I
came out. Exactly. My crazy side came out.
Job. I hate all of that. But one thing that I do to keep me maintained, so that way I don't feel like that waking up in the morning to go to it, is I leave work at work and I make sure I do that. I don't bring it home with me. I don't talk about it outside of work. I don't want to do any of that. Once I clock out, once I leave I log out and I leave my desk. That's it. It's not coming nowhere with me ever.
The
Ever.
great part about my job is that I actually don't mind it. The only thing I don't like is that I get paid more, because y'all know I've been trying to break into this corporate world from my music or whatever, and I had to be sitting there like this is just my face at the workplace, and I just feel like, but it's like it doesn't bother me to do the job that I do. I just feel like I should get paid more for doing it.
Exactly.
Absolutely felt.
That is exactly how it is.
My mental.
Unlike Mariah, I have to talk about it and get it out my system. So like I'll get in the car and I'll be like, bro, this bitch today, or this shit today, or I can't believe this bitch today. Or like if Myron texts me midday and I'm like, this bitch today. Like I get it out some kind of way. Yeah. But like
when
I can't.
Nisha texts me that she has a good day, it's shocking.
You get that text twice a year.
Exactly.
Because if I don't get it out my system, and it's gotten to the point where Ro knows exactly who I'm talking about without even saying it, like saying a name, like, but if I don't get it out my system, it just kind of lingers because my job involves me talking the entire, like if I was on phones, I wouldn't give a fuck, because fuck them, they ain't work. These are people I gotta work with every fucking day, day in, day out, and it's just like consistent. It's like going to work, and I literally would say this, and I'll say this to anybody: leadership is like going to work to take care of a bunch of fucking adults who act like first graders,
grown babies,
big ass fucking babies, like. The complaints, I'd be like, if y'all don't shut the fuck up and just do the job that you signed up for, like, if it ain't for you, find something else. Like, it's gotten to that point where, like, I literally do not care about what you're feeling. And, like, people would literally open up to me and just be like, my mom's dying or something like that. And for some of those people, I'll be like, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I'm very, very empathetic and sympathetic to you. Like, I am. But like, if you're consistently using it as an excuse as why you're not doing well, your performance is down. Your performance is down, which means that my performance is down. My performance is based off of you. And I'm trying to help you get out of that funk. Like, I'm trying to help you. I tell you, either take leave, take some time off, and you're not taking time off. You're showing up in the office. Like, bruh, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear your like anything anymore. And then for some people, like I'd be like, I'm sorry, and that's literally like what my job has come down to, is just like, or people that just be like, well, you don't understand what I'm going through, and I'm like, because I'm not walking in your shoes, but I was like, I still show up to work every day with everything that I'm going through, and all of us do. And I was like, if you can't handle it, try to take a leave of absence. And I've gotten to that point where like that's my response. Unless I'm cool with you. So unless you're like one of those people I'm cool with and we text each other and we talk, that's my response to you for the most part. It's just like, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. Maybe you should take some time off. Go and leave. Take a vacation. You get 120 hours of vacation time. Take it.
Honestly, in a job, that's all you should expect. I mean, you can't expect your job to be a therapist.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, I understand, but your job just wants you to do your job. We don't really care. They don't really care about the external.
But that's what I've been trying to get through to people, is like, they don't see your situation. And you do have some people who are nice enough to be like, damn, like they're really going through something. I'm going to cut them some slack for these months because they've been transparent with me about what they're going through, and I understand being in that mindset. But then it's kind of like, also, you're like, how it trickles down. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, like, when you show up and you do bad, it affects leadership. And if leadership can't fix what you're doing, then one, you're going to get something, or we're both going to be out the door. And people are just like, well, at the end of the day, you're still going to have your job. No, the fuck I'm not, because you're not performing. And people don't understand that. Like, And that's one thing, like, I get across, like, I try to get across to people is like, they're like, oh, why are you being so pushy so far? Like, so much, like, because your job is a reflection of my job. If you do bad, I'm doing bad. If I'm doing bad, then my supervisor is doing bad. And it just trickles down from the top to the bottom. So step your shit up. I don't know what to tell you. Or try to move out of the department. One or the other. But like, I've gotten to the point where I just show up, do my job, go home. Bye. I don't do nothing
That could also
extra.
be why I like my job too, because that's literally what I do. I don't do no extra because I just come in, do my 8 hours, and get the fuck out.
Yeah, like, I don't do nothing. It's gotten to the point where I don't do nothing extra. I don't take on no extra projects. I don't try to help out anything additional. I do the bare minimum for my job to go and
But
collect the paycheck and go
because
home.
it takes so much time out your day, though. That's why it's
8
just so
hours is
annoying. And
crazy.
yeah, it's just like that's why definitely why it's a part of your mental health because I'm dedicating all this fucking time, and then it's even worse
Yeah.
if you don't feel like you're valued for what you're doing.
Because
And
breaking it down
and it's like I have
mathematically,
to do it. So it's not like if it's someone that calls in and I'm just like, oh, I just got to deal with this, or I got to call somebody and like, oh, I just got to deal with this customer for the X amount of time, and then I can move on. These are people I got to deal with every single day. I have to work with them every single day. So if you show up and got a shitty ass attitude, and I got to deal with your shitty ass attitude every day because it's mandatory for my job, you know, and our institution has gotten to the point where it's like, if I was to voice something about your shitty ass attitude, it would probably be an HR issue. So, like, if I say, like, damn, like, you just cussed me the fuck out. I'm supposed to be over here like, maybe you should calm down. And that's not me, because if you cussing me the hell out, bitch, you got a shitty ass fucking attitude. I need you to fix it. And that's literally how I am in my head. But I have to tell them, like, I think you should just calm down. Like, it's going to be okay. And sometimes I just be like, shut the fuck up. You complain a bunch about nothing because you ain't doing nothing.
That's what I was talking about though with that call center job, because at the call center they would literally listen to what you're saying or whatever. So I couldn't just be on the phone and be like, look, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of you yelling at me. Get the fuck off my phone. They didn't even want you to hang up the phone. So if somebody sat on the phone and didn't hang that shit up, I had to sit there and just wait. That's why I only worked that shit for like a week.
and then it was
Those
quote
are
unquote
toxic call centers.
Yeah. First of all, I'm leaving that call center. I'd be daggone if somebody told me I had to stay on the phone and get cussed out. Okay.
First of all, they lied to me about that job position because this was right before their wedding. And I worked there for like a week. Went through training for like 4 days, and then I quit on the one day they actually had me on the floor.
But we got a discounted, beautiful wedding gift from you. I love our wedding gift. I can't wait to get this curio cabinet to put it up in. It's so cute and beautiful and shiny. All because of the job you hate. It was discounted. But no, I definitely
commend y'all. I commend y'all for being able to hold on to that ability to get up and go to work, because as you three know, I was not able to do that, and I had to walk away from that completely in order to fix my own mental state to even somewhat regulate my mentality. So I definitely commend y'all for being able to do that, because it's not easy, and I know it's not easy.
I will also say I got it easier because I'd never have to go in the office. I'm like, yo, if I had to go in the office, I might have a whole different change of heart about this job.
Because I think a couple weeks ago broke down the road. I was like how I was really feeling was like, damn, like I really fucking think this shit is so fucking unfair. I can't fucking just up and leave my job. If I up and leave my job, then the structure of my household falls. But I was like, I would love to just fucking up and leave my job. Like, just quit, bye, bitch. But then we all be homeless.
And I guess that was the comfort of working that call center.
And that, like, I held on to that until, like, I actually, like, burst out and said it in tears. Like that's how I was, like, literally feeling like, damn, if I want to quit so bad, but if I quit, my household crumbles. And I can't just up and leave. And I would say I was really jealous of the fact that like everybody else in the household just up and quit their job. And I'm just like, well, bitch, I still got to get up and go to this bullshit ass job every morning. And that shit weighed so heavy on me because I'm just like, fuck y'all. I love y'all, but fuck y'all. Because if I gotta deal with this fucking stress, y'all motherfucking asses can deal with some stress somewhere. Because this shit is not it right now. And that's like literally how I was feeling. And that shit just like hit me in the face like a goddamn sack of bricks. And I was just blurted it out.
Yeah, I had this conversation with my mom. I said, damn, I just feel like homeless people got it together. Like I feel like they got everything together. And you know, I was really thinking about living that lifestyle. And maybe taking that box and putting it outside and seeing how I can fit all of my shit in it. And maybe finding a cozy little corner under the bridge or something. Because, you know, it just seems like they living life.
You got to be like the lady that live out her car.
I don't know what homeless people you see, but the truly homeless people I seen don't look like they living no life.
Oh.
They go to DC, New York.
Earlier. Some homeless people are not actually homeless, and it makes it hard for you to care about the people that are homeless, because now you have people that are literally taking advantage of other people's niceness, and then you have the people that actually need other people's niceness to even get a meal for that day. So like you can't tell the difference between these two people anymore. So now you don't want to help nobody, and you can't even get that like little satisfaction of helping the person that does need the help, because you don't want to deal with the person that's just using it as a facade. So it's like it's real hard. It's hard.
In New York, I went to school with this girl. I went to school with this girl or whatever, and I lived in Brooklyn. My school was in Manhattan. I didn't know that she lived in Queens, but she came to Brooklyn or whatever. And she was just in the streets begging for money. I walked by and I was sitting there like, girl, you okay? She had a dog and everything in the sign. I was like, girl,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
and I was just like, I'm sitting there like, okay, now I'm figuring out, because she was lying. She was not homeless. She has a very nice apartment, and I've been in there. She had a studio in her apartment. And I was just sitting there like, bitch, this is how you afford it? Because, bitch, do I need to come out and be what's up? Because back in New York, I was struggling.
Like, maybe I need to sit on the corner or something and with Luna like this.
Some of them do actually genuinely have pets. Like there's a couple of homeless people that I've met that like they are homeless with their pets, and they could not just put their pet in a shelter because their pet was emotionally attached to them. And I'm like, I understand that. But then like I started looking at things. So like in Baltimore, I was telling Ro, there's some people who will claim homeless, but it's all about their mannerisms and their appreciation of something. So there are some homeless people, like when you give them something that's not money, if you don't give them something monetary, like, oh, I don't have money, but I do have like more, like I have lunch, or I can get you some lunch. Like I had one person who broke down and cried because I was like, I'm on my way to Subway. They got a deal. I don't have much money, but we both can eat 2 6-inch sandwiches for like $5 right now.
Okay.
Like
you want your half? You want this half or you want this half?
So like he broke down and started crying, and he didn't fully look the part. Like he had a book bag, his shirt was kind of clean, but I was like, he may not have been 100% homeless, but he may have been broke. And then you got somebody out there sitting on the corner with the fake baby. You know them really genuine looking babies they give you in health classes. If y'all had them, I don't know. Some people got the egg, and some people got the real fucking thing. All right, so there was a lady on the corner who was sitting there like, and she looked the part of like somebody that's been living in the streets forever, like hair messy, like was holding a baby, had the baby like a little baby stroller, looked like one of them ones you get from them really cheap ones, and then like the blankets that look like they've been laying on the ground for a while and stuff like that. And she was like, "Can you spare any money?" And I was like, "I don't have money." And then she was just like, "Well, I just need something to help out me and my baby." And I just happened to look, and the blanket kind of slightly opened up, and I was like, either she crazy, but that's that expensive ass baby that they said we had to sign off on in high school and return. And if we didn't, we had to pay it like hundreds of dollars for it. Like, them things is expensive.
Yo.
So I was just sitting there like, because they're so realistic. Like, the skin, everything is so realistic looking. Unless, like, from a distance, it looks like a real baby. But when you up close, you're like, that shit is just, nah. That's just some rubber and some good ass, like. So I was like, I don't have anything, but like, I have food. I was on my way to work. I was like, I have food. I can get a discount from the cafe, or just take some from the cafe where I was working and eat it. That's fine. You know, this bitch cussed me out, and I was like, fuck you and your fake ass baby.
That part.
Because like she laid me out. So when I said I don't have any money to give, and she was like, "You sure look like you dress like you got money." And I was like, "Well, bitch, if you sell your baby fat outfit and them fresh ass Nikes on your feet, you'll have money to give your kids too and feed your family." Shit, you'll be coming for me. I don't know why. I just be blowing up some of these people.
Yeah,
I'll get mad. Like, what the fuck? Fuck y'all.
Well, baby fat wasn't cheap. Bitch, if I was homeless with my motherfucking pet, Luna ass would have been like, bitch, you ain't even got a pot to piss in. I'm out.
bye.
Have y'all seen the video?
She would literally leave me.
Have y'all seen the video of that poor guy that took his dog?
No.
It went viral. He was homeless, and these white teenagers came to him like, "Oh, he's homeless. He don't deserve the pet." And they took his dog, and the guy was crying, trying to get him back. It was so sad.
That is sad because
the last piece of emotional attachment that people have at a lot of situations.
What gives you the right to take my dog away from me?
It's
some
just
of the people that
he was older too.
Another way you can tell, especially when it's hot out, even if it's not hot out, a homeless person who is outside begging for hours on end and usually are in the same spots, they're usually in an open area. So like, one thing I'll notice is like, for dark-skinned people, they'll be a lot darker in certain areas. But if you lift up like that t-shirt, they'll be super light here, but everything else will be just dark as all hell. Or even for like lighter people, they'll actually start having sunspots or sunburn from where they're actually standing out there for X amount of hours doing it. Somebody that's not homeless ain't gonna have that. They're just moving from spot to spot. I'm going to sit here for 30 minutes. I'm going to move here for 30 minutes or an hour, and I'm going to collect what I can, and then they'll keep moving. But like a homeless person will literally continuously walk.
It's not a suntan. It's actually dirt in which it was collected from sitting in that spot all day and not having a bath in umpteen days. It's probably why I can't be homeless. Never mind. I scratch that. Homeless people ain't got it all together. You know what? Y'all done made me realize, okay, all right, let me just take my ass to work.
That is one of my fears, though. That is one of my fears, is being homeless. Yes.
I've been homeless.
Because a lot of people, I can't really rely on too many people, so it's just like, it's just me. And that's another thing that fucks with my mental, is me sitting there thinking, if I ever drop the bag, bitch, I'm short.
Yep, that was my first semester of college. I stayed with someone, and after a certain time, they would lock the doors, and I didn't have a key to the top lock, I only had a key to the bottom lock. So I would have to find somewhere to sleep. So I would either be sleeping the steps, or I would try to find somewhere to get to go like actually sleep in an actual bed or something like that. And then over time, like, the sleeping in the step shit just was not working for me because all the mics in the area. But like, I started sleeping on like the little bench at the college, just like sleeping in front of the dorms and shit on the bench at the college, or be in the student center, just like laid out and just be like, yeah, I'll be out soon when they shut down everything. You just go find somewhere else to sleep. And my mom didn't know that for the entire time because I had a phone that had minutes my first semester, and bitch ain't had no money to buy no minutes to tell her,
Right.
like, you sent me up here to stay with somebody that could give two shits about me until my dorm was ready, and my dorm was not ready until the second semester.
Mhm.
So, like, I was literally going from spot to spot, and I would take as much food out of the cafeteria as I could, and that would be my food in my bag. But like that was my first year. So like when people be like, "Oh yeah, I've been homeless," you don't know what that feels like. Like no, bitch, I do for months. Oh, bitch, I
People be
definitely
quick to
do.
throw that out and
Yes.
don't even know what you go through, like what you've been through or nothing. You barely know me. Why are you just throwing that
Don't
out?
know
You don't
me
know
at
me.
all.
So like if I have to say something for like the ending of our mental health episode that's not outside of just seek a therapist, always have a therapist, or at least somebody close by that you trust to talk to you if you don't want to go to therapy, is stop saying you don't know what I'm going through or you don't know what I've been through, because you don't know what that person's been through at all. And that shit, I just feel like, okay. And I walk
I
away.
wholeheartedly agree because I'm not going to tell anybody something that I haven't already experienced or done for myself. So if I'm talking to you real, I'm not telling you anything that I don't already know.
Right.
So
That part. So
you got to be well.
get
Be
help.
safe. Always love yourself first.
Yes, because RuPaul said, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you supposed to love anybody else?
Did you
Heard.
hear it, bro? Like,
I did actually.
She was over there like,
It was too close to my face. I had to try.
yes, Miss
Tell your
Frizzle.
cat they play.
So
And next week we going inside a booty holes. Like
I
Get out,
cannot.
Well, that's like that used to take me out. Which
Put me on the bus. Put her name down, Miss Frizzle.
No,
Sorry.
on that note, we are ending it here. Live life, be healthy, be well, and love yourself.
take care of
Anybody?
yourself.
Definitely take care of yourself. There's only one you in the universe, and just always remember that. You first.
oh.
Look at the little hearts. Look, came in clutch.
You always
Bye.
so perfect.
Bye.
Bye.